Space Engineers has a lot of mods, but very few of them rise to the top and become essential to my Space Engineers experience. Some of these mods are simple tweaks like coloured icons. However, the mod we're talking about today is much bigger than that, and trust me, it will completely revolutionise how you play the game. Build Vision is a mod that might seem simple on the surface, but once you start using it, you realise what a massive change it makes, and I guarantee it will become a staple of your loadout going forward. Using Build Vision is quite simple. You simply go up to any functional block in the game and hold Control, and this little menu here will pop up. You then scroll up to bring up this radial menu here, or you scroll down and bring up this menu here. Both of these menus are functionally the same, they're just different layouts. The radial one is mainly meant for controllers, whereas the list one is mainly meant for keyboard and mouse. It's personal preference which one you'd like to use. Personally, I like to use the list, but ultimately the decision's up to you. Now, as you can immediately see on the menu, all of the settings for the block are listed here. The name of the block, whether it's on or off, the colour, etc, etc. And you can toggle all these settings by clicking. So if I want to turn the light off, if I click toggle block, and if I click again, it toggles it back on. And you can also change the name of the block by pressing enter, and then you can put whatever you want to in the box. Now, I can't describe how useful this is, especially when you're in creative, when you have lots of blocks and you've forgotten to name them as you go along. Being able to name a block just by looking at it is amazing, but this is so much more than that. Not only can you name a block by looking at it, you can control all of its settings. For example, using my scroll wheel, I can go to the color, I can click it, then scrolling up and down, I can change the color. If I hold shift, it does a much bigger increment of color. And if I hold shift and control, it does a much larger increment. So I've just gone to a light inside just so you can see the effect. So if I go to here and I toggle off all the red, you can see this light is nice and blue. Now if I right click, it reverts the settings. And if I go back onto it again and I toggle it all the way down, and now if I left click it, it confirms the settings. Now let's say you were happy configuring this light and you wanted to change this light here to the same settings. Well, that's quite simple. You go to the light and open the menu, and then on your keyboard you press insert, which selects all. Page up is copy, and then if I exit this menu, go over to this light, now press page down, it pastes all the values from that block into this menu here. Again, this is just another super useful feature of this mod. Now you can easily identify multiple blocks. For example, if you just change the name of one of the blocks, copied and pasted that name onto all the other blocks, it would make it super easy to group in the terminal as well. This mod is just a massive quality of life change, and there's still so much more you can do with it. Like I showed before, if you right click it and does any changes you've done so far, you can do the same with copy and paste. If I press paste down to paste and decide I didn't want to do it for this block, if I then press delete, it then reverts it back to the previous paste. If you look at the documentation for the mod as well, you can also copy individual settings. You don't have to copy all of them, but I was just showing that copying and pasting is as easy as pressing 3 buttons. Now this doesn't just have to be for lights, it can be for any block. An easy example is that rotors and hinges don't have terminals on them, so configuring them by looking at them is quite difficult. However, using this, I can press Control, scroll down, and I can see all of these settings for the rotor. So I can do everything from changing the speed, adjusting the limits, adding small rotor heads, anything you previously forced to use the terminal for, you can now do with this mod. This is very useful for positioning mechanical blocks, as I can click here, I can very slowly adjust the speed. For example, say I want this to face me, and then I right click to stop, and then I can have the hinge, I can do the same, and say I want this to stop at about a 45-degree angle. There you go, and then I can send the piston a little bit. The piston actually starts at a negative, so you actually need to zero out the piston first. There you go. I've seen people use this to create like refueling arms. So this would have a connector on the end, and then they'll manually put it into position to refuel their ships. Again, the possibilities with Build Vision are endless. Of course, this is just my choice for the best mod for Space Engineers. However, there are many mods that are just as useful, maybe even more so. So if you had to choose one mod, and I mean one mod, that you had to have when you played Space Engineers, let me know with a comment below. And as always, like and subscribe for more Space Engineers content.